remember the exact sound the door made when it closed behind her. A soft click that didn't match the chaos raging inside my chest. No slammed door, no screaming, no dramatic tearful goodbye. Just a quiet exit, like she was stepping out for groceries and not walking away from the life we built. "Don't," she said, her eyes already on the floor. "Please don't make this harder than it needs to be." Harder. I stood there in the living room, our wedding photo on the wall behind me, wondering how walking out on a 6-year marriage could ever be considered not hard. "Is there someone else?" I asked, my voice more fragile than I wanted it to be. Her silence was my answer. She didn't beg me to understand. She didn't even flinch when I said, "Emily, if you walk out that door, we don't come back from this." She just adjusted the strap of her bag, whispered, "I'm sorry," and left. I stood there, barefoot on the hardwood floor, staring at the door long after her footsteps faded. I waited for the phone call that never came. The apology that never arrived. The fight for us that never happened. The weeks after were a blur of numb mornings and sleepless nights. Friends tried to help. My brother suggested therapy. My mother said, "She'll regret it." Women who leave like that always do. But regret never came in the form of a message. I filed the divorce papers 3 months later. She didn't contest them. No negotiation, no last-minute pleas. She signed them like signing a receipt for a package that wasn't hers anymore. It was during the process that the truth found me. Not through her, but through a friend of a friend who didn't know how to keep their mouth shut. "She's with someone," they said awkwardly at a mutual friend's birthday. "It's been a while now. Some guy from her office." My stomach turned. So that was it. I wasn't enough. Or maybe I was never the one at all. Just a placeholder until she found what she really wanted. A year is a strange thing. It's both long enough to scar over and short enough for the wound to itch when you remember. I rebuilt, in a way. I threw myself into work. I started running again, late at night when the streets were empty. I even dated once or twice, but nothing stuck. Every time someone smiled at me too warmly, a voice whispered, "Asterisk, she left without a fight. What makes you think anyone else will stay?" Asterisk. Then one rainy evening in October she came back. I was pulling into my driveway, the rain pattering against the windshield, when I saw her figure on the porch. An umbrella, a familiar coat, and a small figure wrapped in the shadows of the night. My heart didn't race the way it once did. It stumbled, tripped over itself, unsure if it should beat faster or stop entirely. She looked older. Not in the way of years, but in the way of someone who had carried a heavy thing too far. "Hi, Daniel," she said when I opened the door. I didn't say hi back. I just stared. She held something in her hand, a small velvet box, damp from the rain. I think this belongs to you." Inside was my wedding ring. The one I had left in the nightstand drawer the day I signed the divorce papers. We sat in the kitchen, the rain still whispering against the windows. I made coffee because that's what you do when you don't know what else to say. "Why are you here, Emily?" She took a long sip before answering. "Because I owe you the truth. I should have given it to you a year ago." I leaned back in the chair. "Truth doesn't change anything now." "No," she admitted. "But maybe it'll change the way you remember it." She told me everything. There was someone else. David, a senior manager at her firm. It started as harmless lunches, then long nights at the office. She said she felt seen, appreciated, alive in a way she thought she had lost. "I told myself I deserved it," she said, her fingers tracing the rim of the coffee cup. "I told myself you were distant, that we had grown apart. But the truth is, I was just selfish. I felt the old anger stir. So you left our life for an office affair." She flinched. "I left because I was weak. And because he made me promises he didn't keep. I thought he was my way to something better. Instead, I became disposable." There it was. The ugly word. Disposable. A year ago, I would have wanted to hear her beg for forgiveness. Tonight I just wanted to understand why my chest felt so hollow. "So why come back now?" "Yes." She looked at me then, really looked. Her eyes weren't as bright as I remembered. Because I wanted to give you this back, she said, nudging the ring box toward me. Because it's the only thing I took from us that mattered. And what do you expect from me? I asked quietly. Closure. Sympathy. No, she whispered. Just to see you one last time. To tell you I'm sorry. And to tell you I'm leaving the city for good. The rain had stopped when she stood to go. She looked at me with that same expression she wore the night she left. Quiet, resigned, but this time cracked with something else, remorse. I don't expect you to forgive me, she said at the door. I just hope you don't let what I did stop you from finding someone who won't leave. I didn't answer. Couldn't. She stepped out into the night, and for the second time I watched her leave. Weeks passed after her visit. The ring sat on my counter, a small, cold reminder of a life that was both real and a lie. Friends asked if I was okay. Said yes. It wasn't the truth, but it wasn't a lie either. One night, I held the ring under the kitchen light. It gleamed like it had a year ago, but it felt different now, lighter somehow. Not because it carried less weight, but because I did. I didn't put it back in the drawer. I didn't throw it away either. I sold it. Used the money to book a trip I'd always wanted to take, alone. Because healing doesn't always come with closure from the one who hurt you. Sometimes it comes from accepting that the goodbye you got was the only one you were ever going to get. I saw her again months later by accident. A crowded train station, a fleeting moment. She was standing by the ticket machine, looking around as if waiting for someone who might not come. Eyes met. He smiled, small, fragile. I didn't stop. I didn't wave. I just kept walking, the sound of the train doors closing behind me. This time the door clicked shut and I felt free. Author's note. Betrayal doesn't always come with a villain's face. Sometimes it comes with a person you once trusted most, carrying your ring in their pocket and an apology too late to matter. And sometimes the greatest act of strength isn't taking them back. It's walking away a second time, without letting them take your future with them.